Aloha, and welcome to Manoa Valley Theater. I'm Executive Director Kip Wilborn, and we are so excited to have you back in our house. Now, a lot has changed since you were here last, so I thought I'd take a few moments to show you what to expect when you arrive at the theater for a performance. Now, because we're committed to making sure that MVT is as safe and healthy a venue as possible, we do require that everyone wear a face covering over their nose and mouth whenever they enter the theater grounds. MVT recently earned the Healthy Verify certification. Now, what does that mean to you? It means that we're exceeding the guidelines from the CDC and Hawaii State Department of Health. We want you to have peace of mind when you come back to visit us, and we've been hard at work cleaning and reorganizing for you. As you approach the box office, you'll see markers on the ground spaced 6 feet apart. Please use these as a guide while waiting to check in to ensure proper social distancing. And when it's your turn to check in, step up to the marker in front of the table. Give our box office staff the name under which your reservation was made, and they will match the name to our reservation list. Next, a staff member will do a contactless temperature check and ask for a few short questions related to COVID-19. You can access our new digital playbill by scanning the QR code posted at the theater or via the link on our website. After checking in, line up in front of our main doors. For the time being, and with your health and safety in mind, we will not sell drinks and snacks, and outside food and beverages are not allowed on the theater grounds. Before each performance and between performances on 2 show days, the theater, public areas, restrooms, backstage, and dressing rooms will be cleaned and disinfected. The house will open 30 minutes prior to the show. Now, we all love to greet our friends and family who are on stage, but we ask that you not congregate at the stage door. Give your congratulations and lei after you've left the theater grounds. Once inside, an usher will be happy to direct you to your seat. Your seat will be labeled with your reservation name. Hand sanitizer will be available in multiple locations throughout the theater. With socially distanced seating and ample separation between you and the actors on stage, we're doing our part to provide for you the safest and most comfortable performance experience possible. At the end of the performance, please remain in your seats. Our house staff will dismiss you by sections. Thanks to generous donations, we were able to replace our air conditioning system this year, helping to provide clean air in the theater. Additionally, during the performance, the main doors will be kept open to increase airflow. For over 50 years, we've had the privilege of bringing high-quality live theater and concerts to Hawaii's audiences. And from all of us here at Manoa Valley Theater, we would like to thank you for your loyalty and continued support. And without further ado, it's showtime!
And good afternoon. Hi, how are you? It's Devin. Welcome to MVT Live, and you just get me. Unfortunately, Kip wasn't able to join us, so you get me talking story with you about what's going on. I hope you're having a great Aloha Friday. Just wanted to give you the heads up on some of the stuff that's happening here at Manoa Valley Theater. First up, we have a theater fundamentals class with Shannon Winpenny. That's her right there. It is in person. And it's this coming Tuesday, May 18th. And by the way, if you want to learn anything and everything about theater, that's the lady to do it. Okay, so come and check it out. It's the Theater Fundamentals class with Shannon Winpenny this coming Tuesday, May 18th. Next, we've got Ron Artis. Now, he was here doing a concert series, sold out the thing. It was awesome. And now we actually have it on demand for you to check out. So all you need to do is go to manoavalleytheater.com and there you go. Pick it up. It's $20 per device. Don't miss it. It's going to be awesome. Tiny Beautiful Things is the show that we have on stage live for you to see right now. Yes, it is running right now. You can come and see it. We have tickets available for today and tomorrow. There's 2 shows tomorrow, 2 shows on Sunday. I believe the Sunday shows might be getting close to sold out. So if you're going to see the shows, come see them tonight or come see them tomorrow. Okay? All right. Cool. Now, oh, sorry, we only have one show on Sunday. And then, of course, we're getting ready for Spelling Bee. The run of that going to be June 17th through the 27th over at Kamuki High School. And you can check out the information for that on our website, manoavalleytheater.com. And then also coming up is And Still I Rise. It's a Juneteenth celebration. If some of you are wondering what Juneteenth is, it's a celebration of the emancipation of the slaves. And it started back in Texas, actually, on June 19th. And that's when we're going to have it. It's going to be here. They're going to be, it's in collaboration with WOW Productions. There's going to be performances. There's going to be food trucks, all kinds of cool stuff. It's really a great celebration. Going to be happening Sunday, June 19th, from 12 to noon, excuse me. And then there's going to be performances at 6 p.m. And then, of course, Daddy Longlegs begins its run July 1st through the 11th. Make sure you go and see that one. Going to be a great show. 2-person show, great music. If you want to get more information, you can go to the Manoa Valley Theater website or call our box office, 808-988-6131. And also, if you have a care, maybe drop a couple bucks here and there, help support the theater, help support live theater, stuff like this. All right, let's jump into the show because our first guest, I actually know. Yeah, exactly. And okay, so this is how it works here on Manoa Valley Theater Live.
Hey, hi folks. So it looks like Devin's connection froze up, so I am jumping in from backstage. I do not have our guest introductions in front of me, but I do want to mention that we are doing trivia questions now. You can win a ticket to Tiny Beautiful Things for one of our Saturday matinee performances. So that's either tomorrow or next Saturday. We also have tickets available for that. So the trivia question is, in what year was Manoa Valley Theater founded? You can type your answer into the chat box on Facebook, and the first person who gets it right, we will be contacting you about your prize. So yay. So our first guest, and I apologize because I don't have their introductions right in front of me. Our first guest is a music director extraordinaire. She's worked on numerous shows, both at Manoa Valley Theater and around town. She's a fantastic accompanist and teacher herself, and she's music directing our production of Daddy Longlegs, which is currently in rehearsals. Viewers, please welcome Jenny.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course, thanks for being on. Give me just a minute because I am going to pull up the questions that we wrote for you, because otherwise I am flying blind because I am not Devin and my interview skills are somewhat lacking here. But tell me about, while I'm looking for that, tell me about Daddy Longlegs. We just announced the cast this afternoon. So and we started rehearsing a little while ago. Tell me how those rehearsals have been going.
Yeah, they've been going great. We have a great cast, Kelsey and Garrett Holes. And the music and the story, it's just so beautiful. During the first read through, I kind of like teared up a little because it's such a touching story. A mysterious benefactor sends her off to college, and you see her growth in all these letters that she writes to him as she becomes a successful writer. So it's a nice love story too. So
that's great. So jumping backwards in time, what brought you to theater and to music direction specifically? Were you more interested in the theater aspect and you got into the music, or was it through the music direction that you got into theater?
Definitely, I'm first a music person. I started playing piano when I was 5, and as soon as I heard musicals, that's all I wanted to play and sing and do. I was in a couple of shows, And then I also got a degree teaching like instrumental music. So I had a very good band musician background. And then, hi, Devin.
Hi.
I'm going to pass the hosting
No,
duty
Jenny,
back to the
please
expert
continue
here.
talking about what you're talking about, because I heard the question, which is the question I was supposed to ask you, but it just sort of happened that way. I again, everybody, I apologize, but this always happens to us every time we do this show. Stuff crafts out, and just now, all the electricity in my house went out and came back on. See, and look, there I go
wow.
again. Yeah.
You're still a little glitchy there, Devin. So
Yeah.
I'll lose you, but I'll be standing by.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Are we trying? Are we trying now? Okay. Because
So,
hi, Jenny. How are you?
hi. Good, how are
Sorry,
you?
sorry, we're glitchy. I will try to get better, but we're going off the internet on my phone. so Janine, super stoked. Thank you, Janine, for jumping in at a last minute notice. All right. So okay, Zen. All right. So tell us again. You started out getting into
Playing
theater
piano,
right.
actually, as a musician. And then in college, I majored in percussion, actually. And being a band teacher, so I had a very like strong instrumental music kind of background at first, but I've always loved playing the piano and singing show tunes. And then one of my first jobs out of college actually was teaching choir. That's
wow.
I actually really always wanted to teach choir, but I was highly encouraged that I wouldn't get a job doing that. So they kind of steered me towards band more. But so I actually taught at Kaimuki High School their choir for 11 years.
Oh, okay.
So just all of the background, that's like all the pieces you need for music direction. It kind of just all came together.
Wow,
So.
that's amazing. All right. Okay,
Yeah.
so how do you go from that to doing musical directions for theater productions?
Because those are like the strengths you gotta have. Like you gotta be able to accompany the singers, put your band together and lead them for the performances. And then of course having such a strong like vocal choir background is really necessary for the cast.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
So,
right.
yeah.
And then, so what was the first show that you did as the musical director?
Actually Full Monty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was my first. That was probably one of the hardest shows to be given to someone too. But
Wow.
yeah.
Okay, so when you're getting the show together, I mean, is it first that okay? You try to think of how the voices are going to work. Do you take the big numbers first? Do you take the small numbers first? How do you arrange it?
Well, the first thing I do is I really try to delve into the score, like just practice it a lot, and then start breaking it down. Yeah, sure. My goal is to teach them the cast music in like the first week of rehearsal. So I just go through it just from beginning to end. Yeah.
Now, the only reason Jenny's looking at me like you should know this is because she's actually the musical director for a couple of shows, so I can vouch that is what happens. So she teaches us all of the songs, and then you start to fine tune stuff. What was fascinating for me is the working one-on-one part with people to try to make sure that you get the best sound out of them, or actually the smaller groups where you're trying to work together harmonies and stuff like that, because as you know from working with me, I don't hear any of the harmonies, so I don't know how you manage to pull all that stuff out of people. It's quite amazing, actually.
You got it.
Well, it wasn't without a lot of strife and certain looks from you. So thanks, I appreciate it. So is there any musical that you would like to do for your next project or some dream project that you have?
One of my favorites is Waitress. I would love to do that one day, but I just love like Sarah Bareilles and her music. So
okay, all right, we'll put that out in the universe for you. Okay, Cool. We'll get that going for you. All right. Thank you, Jenny. We're going to bring you back in just a little bit. Right now, we are going to bring on Melina, if that's okay. Thank you so much, Miss Jenny. We'll see you in a little bit. And I'm going to read this off my phone because my phone is the only thing that's working right now. Our next guest today has been music directing in Hawaii for over 30 years. She's a 6-time Paul Keller recipient, and some of her favorite shows include Jesus Christ Superstar, The Who's Tommy, Ragtime, The Full Monty, Titanic, and Miss Saigon. Her most recent production was an original theater piece at Paliku Theater called Rise Up, A Call to Action, which gathered over 55 musicians, singers, and dancers and brought to light the many social injustices of our world through music, song, and dance. Her next project is music directing a chorus line at Diamond Head Theater later this year. Please welcome Melina Lilios.
Oh, I'm so close up. Oh, I didn't know I was going to be so
I know. I'm like, oh.
Oh, I would have powdered for God's sake. Jeez Louise. I think I'm going to zoom back.
Okay.
Hey, Devin, nice to finally kind of meet you.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah. Sorry,
Remember,
as I
we
snap
have
in and out.
344 mutual friends on Facebook. We got at least.
I know, it's crazy.
Have lunches
It's
for God's
crazy.
sakes. I'll buy.
I can't believe
okay?
we've never. I know. I can't believe
I
we've
know.
never worked together before.
It's going to happen.
All right.
Don't worry.
I'm
Yay.
unhooking everything I possibly can. Oh, okay.
Oh, is it
Sorry.
just me now? Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Wow.
No, it is not just you. I know.
Am I a solo act now?
Well, I know. No, you're not a solo artist. It's gonna be one of those days. Okay, there we go.
Is
I'm
it
good.
Friday the
I'm good.
13th?
Sorry.
Oh, is it Friday the 13th? No, it's
No,
Friday the
yeah,
13th.
I know. It seems like it. Sorry. It's going to be one of those shows. I'm glad it's the two of you because I actually know you guys.
Mercury retrograde. Just blame
Yeah, I don't know
Mercury.
what's going on. I don't know what's
Just
going on.
blame
We got gremlins running throughout my entire house. So,
It's
okay, I'm completely wireless now. So it is just me and you. So hopefully everything will be fine. So, Melina, talk to me about what brought you to theater. What got that spark going for you?
Well, I tell you what, I can remember the moment. I was 7 years old playing piano and I was rocking out to the score. Maybe I was 8 or 9 when I actually got to the score Jesus Christ Superstar. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but at that age, I knew back then that if we could have rock and roll and theater in one world, this is the world that I actually want to be a part of. And it's so cool that I ended up doing it in 2004 with Yvonne Element opening night in the audience. So ever since then, Yvonne and I have been good friends, and I get to do Jesus Christ Superstar again for the second time this coming spring at DHT. So that, I mean, the idea of just doing theater to me as a visual person, a person who just loves human experiences, who loves to play piano, who loves to just bring in a huge collaborative effort with musicians, singers, light, tech. I think it's one of the most magnificent collaborative efforts that you can be a part of. And I love that part about theater. So yeah, but it was Jesus Christ Superstar. I'll say to this day, I remember playing Descendame like when I was 7, 8 years old, and I just had tears coming down my eyes. And I was like, this is awesome. Like I was so moved by the show at such a young age. And
now
I've
for
never,
you,
never looked back. Yeah.
Where did you get your training from? Like, how did that start?
Training. Well, I was not a music major, but I started playing piano when I was 7 years old. I went to a music school affiliated with Yale University, where I grew up in Connecticut. So I was playing piano all through high school. I got involved with musicals then. I was playing through college at Syracuse University. My claim to fame there was playing for Vanessa Williams in West Side Story and a lot of other theater productions. We both graduated together. We had a really good theater department at Syracuse, but I was never a theater major. I always said that if I became a theater major, I would burn out. So I never wanted to burn out. So my major was communications, public relations. My minor was in Spanish, but I always kept up with music. It's always been a passion, and I still really love it. Can you tell?
Yeah, just a little bit.
I get excited just talking about theater.
I mean, I'm just curious, like, how do you parlay that into becoming a musical director and doing that kind of stuff? Because, I mean, there's so much involved with it.
It's totally, and I have to thank Phil Hidalgo, which I know you know well. It was here in 1989 when Manoa Valley Theater was doing the musical Angry Housewives. Phil somehow knew that I played piano and told the theater, like, hey, there's this chick Melina who just moved to Hawaii, bring her in. And that was my very first musical. And honestly, I mean, I had worked as an accompanist, but to music direct, you just got to learn fast. You got to learn how to work with musicians. You got to learn to work with a director. So I really just threw myself in the fires, which is kind of how I do most things in my life. I figure, other people have done it. I can figure it out. Just ask lots of questions and just be friendly and bring food to rehearsals. Like bring sugar, sometimes booze if it's allowed after rehearsal, and everything seems to work out okay.
Well, I mean, do you
so far,
have
so good.
I was asking Jenny too, with regards to your process when you're looking at the show, are you I mean, what do you try to attack first? Is it teach everybody all the music and then start to sort of drill down? Because you've got big numbers where there's 30 people in them, and then you've got individual numbers.
Definitely. So what I always like to do is get into the chicken skin moments, I call them, and start off the first rehearsals with like either the finale or some big song where everybody's singing together, where everybody feels inspired. Look, I'm literally getting chicken skin just thinking about it, just to get people kind of hooked. Because to me, I actually choose shows based on whether or not I actually get chicken skin. If there's no chicken skin factor, not that I'm such a snob, I can just say no, but there has to be moments within the show where I'm just literally so moved. And those are the moments I usually try to start with in rehearsal. And then, I mean, depending on the show, it has to get seriously broken down. With Chorus Line, I mean, there's a lot of individual pieces, but there's some very big, important, well-known group numbers. There's also some very difficult pieces in the montage section. And great trivia about that. My first involvement with theater here was with Chorus Line with Greg Zane as an accompanist for Emmett and Tommy Aguilar in 1989. So the fact that I finally get to work with Greg in this show, we have never worked with each other in 32 years. So
you see, I'm not the only one. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I know.
Cool.
God, I feel like such a loser. I got to get with the cool people. Come on, Devin, work with me. You're the cool one.
No problem. Well, no. So, I mean, you're also kind of known as a world traveler because, again, just so everybody knows, like Jenny and I worked on shows together. Melina and I have never worked on a show together, but we have so many friends in common. And one of the things, because we're Facebook friends, I get to see that you travel so much. So during the COVID time, I mean, what has it been like for you? Because you can't travel.
Yeah. Well, the two things that I love the most, travel and theater, were obviously stripped away from me. I just finished building a house in Baja, Mexico. So I was fortunate to be able to escape every few months to go check in on that. But I also run a tour company. So I literally was on my way to Bangkok to do a tour in Bhutan last year in March, when literally the walls came crumbling down. So I do tour. Yeah. So my tour business had to stop. I was going to go to Greece in August this year, but Greece really just started opening up. So I'm going to try again for next summer. But I see my life as very modular. Like I schedule for shows that I really love, and I schedule for my tours, and they're both really passionate human experiences for me. So I just figure it out, and I tell theaters this is when I'm available. And if you have a show that I can do at this time, great, I'm there. So I've been very fortunate. Sometimes I've actually given up a tour for shows that are really, really special. And so that's what I do. Yeah, shows, to me, to do a show that I really love, they don't come very often. So I give up tours sometimes just to sit in Hawaii. Not like I'm sitting around.
Okay. So with that in mind, I asked Jenny this earlier, but I mean, is there a show or shows that you have sort of in your dream of shows that you want to do? Is there anything that you haven't done yet?
Dear Evan Hansen is a show that I would really love to do. I know Jenny said Waitress, and I feel so bad because I'm doing Waitress, and I would be like, come on, Jenny, come on board, like do the show with me. We'll call music director. Like it's also a beautiful show. So I'm fortunate to do that. But dream show, Dear Evan Hansen, I really love that a lot. I never have done Rent, and I know people kind of like poo-poo it, but I just love the music. I saw the original cast on Broadway. If I could get a chance to do that. But there's a lot of good stuff coming out in Broadway now that I want to see. Moulin Rouge and Six and some really great new shows. And I'm so excited Broadway's opening. Like, yeah, I literally had tears coming down my eyes with those announcements this week. So, so there's going to be more shows I want to do for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for asking.
Oh,
how about you?
Problem.
What show do you want to do?
For me, I'm ready to do a show whenever they're ready to call. As long as they're willing to put me in the show, I'm willing to do the show. So it's all good. You know what, Melina, thank you so much for the time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Jenny on now, so then the three of us can walao and talk story a little bit before the end of the show. Because it's just me. Like I don't have to worry about bringing nobody else on unless the electricity in my house goes out again.
You gotta talk to Spectrum, Devin. Spectrum needs to sponsor you, man. What's up with that? Like you should not rely on your phone for this.
I know. So I kind of just wanted to talk story with you two as well, because you two have actually worked together, correct?
We have, yeah.
When I was in a show Jesus Christ Superstar.
Jesus Christ Superstar. Didn't we do Titanic and Ragtime together too? Titanic, weren't you? You were in Titanic or Ragtime?
No.
Smart. Oh, really? What other show? I feel like we've worked on more shows together. Was that the only one, Jenny?
I think so.
Well, we got to work on that.
Yeah, I know that's
All
going
right.
to change. Well, now she's a big boss music director, so it's like, yeah, she's a busy woman now. Wow. Wow, I didn't
It's a
realize.
pleasure being on the show with you because I'm really just a newbie, but you
Ah.
you are like seriously.
So on that note, can I just make a mention, Devin, that when I started in 1989 in Hawaii, and this is just a gender issue, not an issue, a commentary, that I was the only woman music director. It was like me, Emmett, oh my gosh, Donald Gap, Wayne Mead, and then Lina Dew came a few years later. But like I felt like, not like a novelty. I felt like this is so kind of like weird. Like it was just sort of like, sitting in a sea of men in the orchestra and like, what were they thinking? Like a crazy woman conducting. And now we're swimming with all these amazing, talented women. And I don't want to make this man versus women, but the fact that the face of the musical theater directing world has changed with people like Mary and Jenny and Megan Mount and Darcy now starting. And I'm sure I'm missing a lot of other female names, but you get my point. Like, that in itself is such a great like morphing that's happening in the music directing world in Hawaii, and I applaud that. So yay, Jenny!
Yeah, it's actually
yay, talented women! Yay, go
I know.
girl
Well, it's
power!
actually interesting for me because I really, the majority of the shows that I've worked on in musicals all have women music directors.
Yeah,
Because it's either been it's either been Jenny or it's been Roz.
oh yeah, and Roz. Hello, Roz.
Yeah,
Queen.
Roz, and I've had
Yeah.
Kip, but yeah.
Exactly. But 30 years ago, honestly, like it was so crazy. Like we'd sit at the Kalos and I'd be like, okay, I'm in a sea of men, which was fine. It was just, I was also a lot younger. So I felt like, what am I doing here? But now I feel like I'm in awe of all these like cohorts that are in the female body, and they're awesome. They're all awesome, men and women. Don't get me wrong.
I also kind of want to ask you too, between the two of you, what is it like putting together your orchestra? Because you have to think of the you know what I mean? You have to think of the players that you're going to put on stage. Derek Higashi is usually one of them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I was curious how you distill that down because, depending on the show, right? You've got these.
Yeah. It's
Hawaii. We can't have a 30-person orchestra.
No,
you
it's
can,
huge.
Most of the
And
time
that's-
for MBT, yeah, you can only get like 5 or 6 or 7. So, do you have players that you go to that you're gonna hit, or do you just go, okay, how do I separate everything out? How does that
For
work?
me, it depends on the show. Like I go back and forth between rock operas and more standard. Rock operas require rock players. And so even with the first Tommy I did, I literally put an ad in Craigslist and audition musicians that were seriously rock musicians that knew the score of Tommy. So I think it depends. But yeah, I definitely have go-to players that I just know are reliant because it's a huge commitment and for not a lot of pay. So they're my heroes. And again, I bring them lots of food when necessary. But yeah, I think it just depends on the show because to me, sometimes you get a great guitar player that's like, really good and steady, but you put him in a rock show, sometimes you need a really killer soloist that just needs to, like for Jesus Christ Superstar, I need a killer guitar player. Like it's like another character. So I think it just depends for me on what the show, and we are so blessed in Hawaii to have so many awesome musicians. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful
Yeah,
for
Jenny,
that. For sure.
let's hear from you. What is it like putting together an orchestra for you?
Yeah, like you have your people that you love to work with because you know that they're very talented and they're very dependable. So
Yeah, that's key.
Same thing that Melina says.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Wow. Yeah, I wondered about that because I've been to shows and you sit there in the audience and you go, okay, wait a second, how are they even possibly getting all that sound out of this many people?
Oh, it's a challenge. At Diamond Head,
every
sometimes
time.
I have to reduce a score for like 27 musicians to like 7 musicians. I'm just like, thank God for synthesizers, for really versatile musicians, but that's the biggest challenge. Once you agree, Jenny, like trying to get that big sound, and because of budgetary constraints, we can never get more than 7 or 8 musicians. So it's like, I end up just playing myself to help add an extra keyboard sound.
Yeah.
That's a huge challenge. I know, Jenny, I think you agree with that. It's huge.
Yeah.
Well, so okay, you said something that I need to focus on a little bit. So you have to go through the score and pull out specific parts, Jenny. Is that right? In order to make sure that everybody can play.
Yeah, you have to make sure that whatever's like really important that needs to be heard. Yeah. And maybe if you didn't have that instrument for that one, you have to do it on like a keyboard or reassign it or rewrite it or yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's a lot of work.
That's
It is.
that's fascinating. Okay.
Mhm.
So we've talked about your dream shows. We've talked about what it's like as a woman working in this field where, and actually, I mean, I give both of you credit because it's funny. We have both people. We've got somebody who's been doing it for 30 years, and then we've got somebody who's like, I've been doing it for like 8.
Yeah.
but both of you are so accomplished. You've done so much in this in the time that you've been here. It's just amazing, and I can't wait to see. I mean, have you ever worked on a show where there's 2 musical directors?
No, sometimes there's like a vocal director and an orchestra. I know
Yeah.
Mr. Bright, like Chris Clark and Mary often do like they split it, or Miguel Cadoy does vocal versus the
Mhm.
orchestra. But I think Jenny and I usually do both, right? We always do
Mhm.
both. Like
Yeah.
I've never had a co. I think that would get a little difficult. I mean, I think that's. I mean, because you have a vision as a music director, you have an idea of how
Right.
things want to sound. I do want to say with Chorus Line, it's a huge challenge for me because we're working with tracks because of the COVID regulations. I can't have live musicians for this particular show, so that's an added challenge. I don't know if you've worked with tracks, Jenny, but that's a whole other kind of like the effect of COVID. I'm like, what do you mean I can't get real? But just for this show, this is the last time I think I'm ever going to use tracks.
Yeah.
But that's also a challenge because then basically the tracks are teaching you what you know. I'm like, no, I don't like that tempo. Darn it.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah,
too
you're so
you're
restricted.
slave. You're
Yeah.
slave to the track. So that's the small price to pay for having live theater. Thank God you, Manoa, and Diamond Head are like moving forward, and even through this year, having some connection with the theater world has been like a saving grace for all of us. So thank you, Devin and MVT and everyone that's just trying to do art,
Yeah.
make art.
We're trying to get through it, kind of like this show today. And I'm so sorry. I was really stoked to have the 2 of you on, and then everything went off, and I went, oh, that's
Man,
great, awesome.
Your gift card
Thank-
for Spectrum's on the way. Don't worry. I'm sending you a
Thank you
membership.
for rolling. Thank you for rolling with everything. I really, really appreciate it, Jenny
it's my
Melina.
pleasure.
I so appreciate the talent and the drive that both of you have and bring to these shows every time that you do them. Y'all, if you get a chance, if you're gonna do a show, if you see either of these ladies as a musical director in them, know that you're in for just an amazing time. And yeah, don't make them
Thank
mad
you.
because musical directors don't like when you're fooling around too much.
Just don't
At least
throw things
that's
at
what
us
I've
from
learned.
behind. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
don't
don't
be
throw
throwing
tomatoes
stuff.
at us.
Yeah, yeah,
This isn't Shakespeare, folks. Okay, don't throw stuff at us.
So bring them food, feed them well, take very
Exactly.
good care of them. But Jenny, Melina, thank you so much for spending this
Thanks,
time with
Devin.
us on Manoa Valley Theater Live. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say congratulations to our winner, our trivia winner, Gail Takagi. Please, Gail, if you can, contact the box office so that we can get you your prize. See, that's how long I was out. I didn't realize we asked the question already.
We have a winner.
I was thinking, wait, how did we do that? It's magical, and that's because we got Janine back there who's now panicking because she didn't think she had to be on camera, and then yay, she was. Janine, you're awesome.
Yay,
Andrew,
she
thank you
looked
for
and
rolling
sounded
with it.
great.
I know.
Yay.
Kristen, thanks again too, and we look forward to having Kip back next week. Thank you, ladies, for staying till the end of the show, and
Thanks
we
for
will
having
see you
me.
all next week with more Manoa Valley Theater Live.
Bye,
Aloha.
Jen. Good luck with your show, Jen.
Thanks. You too.
Devin.